Hi everyone, welcome to week 10 in 673. Hope everything is going well. Um, Everybody's turned in their part 1 of their paper, and I've gotten those all graded and back to you. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Everybody did a really good job on those papers. Just remember that it needs to be in APA format. So that means that you need the title page, and when you're looking at your APA manual, make sure that you're looking at the example of the student paper, not the professional paper, because that's kind of the format that we follow. The other one would be more if you were planning to have your work published. So follow the example of the student paper in the APA manual. Also look at the levels of headings in APA. Each section of your paper should be under the specific headings of that week. So for example, it should say etiology, and then under that should be the etiology of your disease. And then the next section should be pathophysiology, and then that section should be underneath that as well. And for each section, as we go through, like clinical manifestations is one section. And those are called level 2 headings, and those are in bold and left aligned. So just keep that in mind. And the first page of an APA paper, at the very top, you repeat the title of your paper in bold, centered. So that's how your paper should start, very top line, not in the header or anything. And then, yep, numbered pages in the top right corner. So what else did I have to say? Keep in mind that your total paper is going to be 8 to 10 pages. Some people started off with the first two sections 5-6 pages long, and that's not going to leave you much room to complete all the things that you need to complete. Now, that first section I think was probably the heaviest chunk of the information that you'll have placed in your paper, but just keep in mind that we have 2 other sections of our paper due. So just try and condense your information and cite your sources appropriately. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say is the final paper will be submitted through Turnitin. So that's going to check your paper for plagiarism. So you can turn it in as many times as you want. The end goal for your paper would be to have no more than 15% of your paper linked to another document that has a similar phrase or sentence in it. So the final paper will do that, which will check to make sure that you're citing everything correctly. So let's look at this week. There's no forms or anything this week. This week is focusing on disorders of the GI system. There's of course a pre-quiz as with every week, and I just wanted to point out that ideally we would like you to do that like first. The first thing is just take that quiz. Number one, it gets it out of the way for you, and number two, it kind of clues you in on areas that maybe you could study a little bit more on, or areas that you maybe wouldn't need to focus so heavily on. And that's kind of where the benefit in learning comes from. So try and take that as early as you can in the week. Then there's some chapters for you to read here, 36, 37, 38, and 39, and then the corresponding PowerPoints right here. There's some nice concepts and action animations to watch over different disorders, etc. There's the study guide on chapters 28, 29, and 30, and then the disease pathology paper part 2 for this week. So just looking at that, it's similar to the first section. Remember again, it'll be 8 to 10 pages long. And this part of your paper will be on clinical manifestations and natural history. If you'd like, you can just add that section to your paper and submit the whole thing to me, so that when we're all done, your paper is already put together. If you want to just send the clinical manifestations and natural history part, that's fine too. If you do that, however, then you'll need to include another title page and another reference page. So it may be just easier to keep one document rolling through the whole thing. Might make it easier for you in the end. So that's really it for this week. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, ensure that you're taking some moments here and there for self-care as needed, or enjoy at least what you're doing in the moment, and being cognizant of your stress levels, and even taking the time to breathe for a few minutes and focus on your breath, or just making the effort to enjoy making yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and sitting down and drinking that in quiet and reflecting for a few minutes is very helpful for our minds and our bodies as well. So take care and enjoy the week, and I'll see you next week.